Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream. Change has come to America.
Believe it. Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Of this environmental agreement to try to reduce the carbon footprint and also to help countries that are dealing with the effects of climate change.
Oh, man. You know what just happened? I had it all queued up there on the CNN Go. And they, at the top of the hour, they take out whatever you buffered. Yeah, he's a buffer. And well, anyway, what just happened there? Trump just gave a 40-minute random sort of a scatological, and by that I mean just throwing poop at the microphone thing about he's pulling out of the Paris. We will not have Paris, everybody. We will not have Paris. I thought we would always have Paris. We're not going to have Paris. Oh, it's just unbelievable. He just went through 40 minutes of lying about how it disadvantages us and advantages all these 200. We now join the ranks of Syria and Nicaragua as the two countries that said no to joining the Paris Accord. I cannot believe that we are withdrawing from a climate deal that we spent years negotiating with 200 countries. 200 countries. You got 500. I mean, this is how we know he lied. I'm so pissed off that I can't play you this speech. I hope you saw it. I hope you saw some of it. It was just the most mind-blowing 40 minutes of lying, straight up, straight out lying about how it advantages other countries and how nobody here wants it, and it hamstrings our oil and it hamstrings our coal. Let me just show you something real quick, okay? Here are the oil and coal companies, Fortune 500 companies, and the Republicans who want to stay in the Paris Agreement. Oh, well, that's done. He says he's going to negotiate a new deal. Who's he negotiating with, the whole 200? Anyway, ExxonMobil, our Secretary of State, is ExxonMobil. I mean, it's just sick. It's just so twisted that we have the chairman of the chief executive officer of ExxonMobil is our freaking Secretary of State. I mean, go figure. But ExxonMobil, that is our biggest oil company. They are in favor of the Paris agreements. Their new CEO, who replaced Rex Tillerson, Darren Woods, sent Donald Trump a personal letter urging him to keep the U.S. in the agreement. Rex Tillerson has also argued to stay in there. The other major oil companies that want to stay are BP, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, Shell. They all believe that a concerted push for climate action gives them the opportunity to sell more natural gas. And that's what they want to do going forward. And of course, it's less CO2 in the atmosphere than when coal is burned. And by the way, speaking of coal, I got to tell you that the Gary Cohn, who's the National Economic Council chair under Donald Trump, said to reporters yesterday, coal doesn't make that much sense anymore. Pushing renewables could make America a manufacturing powerhouse. And that's what China is busy doing. And that's what India is busy doing. And that's what Europe is busy doing. They're investing in renewables. Even freaking Costa Rica. Little Costa Rica, half of all their energy is renewable. Half of it. Every one of the major coal companies, believe it or not, Cloud Peak Energy, is asking Trump to stay in the accord. This is their statement. Quote, by remaining in the Paris Agreement, albeit with a much different pledge on emissions, you could help shape a more rational international approach to climate policy. Cloud Peak CEO Colin Marshall wrote Trump in a letter. Marshall argued that remaining in the Paris Agreement could encourage support for technologies that reduce and capture CO2 from coal plants. Two other coal companies, Peabody Energy and Arch Coal, they haven't called for staying in Paris, but they told administration officials they have no objection to staying in the agreement. 25 large U.S. companies, including Apple, Facebook, Google, recently ran full-page ads in major newspapers asking Trump to remain in the climate accord, saying, continued U.S. participation in the agreement benefits U.S. businesses and the U.S. economy in many ways. It creates jobs, it creates markets, it creates growth, and reduces business risks. 1,000 companies, big and small, signed a letter calling for the U.S. to realize the Paris Agreement's commitment of a global economy that limits global temperature rise to well below 2 degrees Celsius. 69 Fortune 500 companies have voiced support for the Paris Accord. Altogether, businesses backing the Paris Climate Agreement represent $3.7 trillion in annual revenue and employ nearly 8.6 million workers. Berkshire Hathaway, Campbell Soup, Citigroup, Dow Chemical, DuPont, eBay, Facebook, Gap, General Mills, General Motors, General Electric, Goldman Sachs, Apple, Google, The Hartford, HP, Hilton, Intel, Johnson & Johnson, Kellogg, Microsoft, Monsanto, Morgan Stanley, Nike, NRG Energy, PG&E, Salesforce, Staples, Starbucks, Symantec, Walmart, Wells Fargo, and major institutional investors that control $17 trillion in assets. 280 institutional investors with a combined $17 trillion in assets, including Allianz Global, CalPERS, HSB Global Asset Management. They signed a letter emphasizing their strong support for the Paris Agreement, saying the implementation of effective climate policy mechanisms and the regular monitoring of outcomes is vital for investors to make well-informed investment decisions that can also better support governments in delivering their national commitments and priorities, they wrote. Representative Kevin Cramer of North Dakota advised Trump on energy issues. He is outspoken. He is saying U.S. should remain. He and 8 other Republican representatives sent a letter to Trump in April, stay in the agreement. The U.S. should use its seat at the Paris table to defend and promote our commercial interests. Our engagement can prevent the development of harmful policies that undermine economic growth. And then you have his own guy at the Economic Council saying, the National Economic Council chairman, Gary Cohn, not to be confused with Mark Cohn or any of the other Cohns that are getting subpoenaed. This is a different Cohen. This is Gary Cohn. He said our future is in renewables, that it creates new markets, that we could be a manufacturing powerhouse. We should this is insanity. You know why he's doing this? Because he's got 36% approval, and those people are rabidly stupid. Stupid. Well, he says he has the best words. He knows a lot of words. He's got the best words, but his favorite word is stupid. This is a mistake, and this is huge. Huge. And you know that the most disturbing thing about the Trump administration is they will never admit to making any sort of mistake, even if it's just a drowsy typo. They just continue making huge mistakes, more mistakes than any presidency in our history. This is freaking frightening. Why have you never seen Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump in the same room ever? We have a semi-conscious Donald Trump sending out, covfefe tweets in the middle, and now attacking Hillary Clinton. And she said people who live in covfefe houses should not throw covfefe. I mean, this is really what's going on here. I mean, I can't understand, just because he has tiny little fingers and can't hit the keyboard correctly, we all have to not be able to breathe now? I don't understand it. It makes no sense whatsoever. You have, you have no one at the. Listen, this is the crazy thing. 4 months into office, President Donald Trump has failed to appoint even a single person to a senior level science council office. Not one person. This is the first time in recent history that the White House is without a team of top technical advisors. The last time we didn't have a top technical advisor or science people was, guess who? Yeah, Richard Nixon. The President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, that panel that usually consists of the world's best academics, the world's best technologists, the world's best scientists, take time out of their busy jobs, like an Elon Musk, who's very busy making the most beautiful car you ever saw in your life, the Tesla, and sending things and landing them, called space. I mean, Elon, Donald Trump is Kim Jong-un. He can't get it up. He can't get it off. Meanwhile, Elon is like shooting like, 100%, baby, and landing it with pointy toes. Do you know what I mean? But yet Elon Musk has said that if he pulled out of the Paris Agreement, he was going to quit. So we don't have any interest in appointing any science advisors. We don't fill any open science and technology positions across our government now. So yeah, let's take our science advice from a man who contributes to the denigration of the ozone layer every day when he sprays that orangutan's ass that he keeps on his head with Aquanet. Yeah, let's take our science advice from him. A scientist that serves on the administration said that there is no indication there will be any new council of advisors. And when they talked to this is Foreign Policy Magazine, when they talked to the other former members of the panel, they said the same thing. They said the current Office of Science and Technology Policy website does not mention the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. From what I've heard, there are no plans to reconstitute the office, said a former advisor who requested anonymity to comment freely. We had Google executive Eric Schmidt under Obama. We had academic experts in disciplines ranging from physics to biology. Obama appointed his council almost immediately after being elected, and they had pretty much unfettered access to the president. The Trump White House has no use for, I guess because it doesn't have any killer graphics. Somebody make killer graphics. Come on. Grassy, make some killer graphics, make some videos he can watch at night instead of watching the TV and tweeting with his teeny tiny fingers that miss the letters. This is sick. This is really sick. This was something that, first of all, when have you ever seen the almost entire world minus Nicaragua and Syria agree on anything? They all agreed to be part of this because China, you can't even breathe. The air there is like, it's got mass, it's got weight, it's got heft. Everybody's got a mass. They're dying over there. Heart disease, emphysema, lung disease. They want to clean up. They're leading the way. We're going to get so left behind by this dunce, by this douche. Everybody's moving into renewables. An investment in renewables would have been the greatest thing for job creation. Marketplaces would have been fabulous, would have been phenomenal. This is why I keep telling you, I want to get into the 21st century. And they want to stay at best in the 20th, and most of them really miss the 19th. My God, we have a march for science. We have little kids, saying, I believe in science. I mean, it's unbelievable. Our national security has just been put in danger. The very next wars are going to be fought over water and access to freaking Jim Inhofe from Oklahoma. Have a look at your state. Worst droughts ever. Losing entire crops of cattle due to no water, no cool, clear water. Got freaking earthquakes in Oklahoma. Oh my God. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.